Now, are you on your period right now?
Stop it. What?
I'm trying to get answers.
No. How old are you? I'm not gonna give you anything. So close.
How old are you?
I'm 12.
She's on her period,
feels very...
right?
No, what?
Are you? No, you're not on your period? You bleed.
The internet has become a very sad place lately. So Shane Dawson is being canceled right now. I feel like every video I've been making recently has been about someone getting canceled for something. Sometimes it's deserved, sometimes it's not. In this case, I do feel like he has a lot to answer for.
I know twerking is insane.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, I love you too. No, shut up and twerk. Twerk for us.
Oh,
here we go. She's moving furniture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now tell her to show herself.
Stop it, Shane Lee.
Inappropriate jokes, although I'm not condoning them, are one thing, but being inappropriate to children, whether that is on video chats or in person, that is all something very, very serious, and I'm going to go through these clips and examples and address everything that he is under fire for right now. He made an apology video called Taking Accountability. It has over 6 million views right now. It's #1 on trending. The like to dislike ratio is quickly shifting in a direction I'm pretty sure he doesn't like. Although I have seen lists of reasons as to why people don't like his apology video, I can sum it up in 3 major points. First of all, he said the video Jenna Marbles made apologizing inspired him to make this, and he did make it after a Twitter thread of all these video clips of stuff that he's done that's inappropriate went kind of viral, so it's not as though he decided of his own choosing to kind of address this. He saw Jenna Marbles doing it, and then he was under a lot of fire because of this Twitter thread, and then he did it. So it wasn't something that he just wanted to do out of the goodness of his heart. He was under a lot of pressure. 2, when Jenna Marbles apologized for her video, as you'll see, I discussed this in detail in my last video, but she showed examples. She literally picked up her computer and played clips of the things that she was being accused for. She apologized for those things. She did not hide from any of those things. She was very specific and even apologized for things that she was not under fire for at the time. Whereas Shane, he didn't show anything. And not only was he very vague, and this brings me to my 3rd reason, he didn't even address some of the worst things that he's being accused of. He spent the majority of the video talking about how he was sorry for doing blackface, and while that is terrible, that's not the main reason why people are so mad at him. They're mad at him for being inappropriate with children. So his apology video was a fail. He did not do a good job. He tried to say that he was genuine and doing it from a good place and not out of fear, but that's exactly what it was. So we're gonna go through his apology video in detail. We're gonna go through all the clips of the things that he has done, that he's being canceled for. But before I get into all of these incredibly messed up videos, I do want to give a little bit of context on my view of Shane, because that is something that has drastically changed over the last year. I know a lot of people are facing this heartbreak now because somebody that they idolized has disappointed them, to say the least, and whenever you see somebody that you hold up here fall like that, it really does crush your spirits. And I understand that everybody is going through that now, but I went through that about a year ago. Granted, the things that are coming out now are so disturbing. I can't even, there's no way I can even describe how messed up these things are. I do just want to be honest and let you guys know that I have been upset with Shane for a while now. I'm not gonna talk about that very long. I will address it at the end of this video so that you have more details, but I do want to briefly give a little bit of context to my personal interactions with Shane. About 3 years ago, I was on his podcast, Shane and Friends. Unfortunately, I was on that podcast with my ex. I wasn't even really supposed to be on the podcast, but I was there and I ended up popping in for the end of it and having some discussions with him that I will play later. All I want to say is that when I met him, he was extremely nice. Like, one of the nicest people I have ever met, and in my opinion, he was so genuine, and I remember just thinking, wow, isn't it nice? It's so nice that someone that you view on the internet and you think is an amazing person is actually an amazing person in real life, because so often that's not the case. So I was like, wow, isn't that, I'm just so happy, that's so great. And I walked away from that experience with so much respect for him and admiration. In January of 2018, accusations came out against him from things that he had said on another podcast episode, sexualizing a child.
First of all, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like she's like sexy.
Now, at the time, I still held him in a very high regard, so I decided to go and watch the entirety of that podcast, and I remember feeling really disgusted with the accusations because people were taking the clips of the negative things that he said in that podcast and removing everything else around it where he was saying, it's disgusting to do this, this is a bad thing, of course I don't condone it, I don't understand how people can view kids in that way. So I made a very passionate video defending him, saying, why aren't people showing that he's saying these things are wrong? Yes, he's making jokes that he shouldn't be making, but he clearly does not condone these things, and I felt like he was being wrongfully taken out of context. But my God, now looking at these clips that are coming out, I feel like a fool. I feel like a fool for defending him because these clips are so damning, and it's not just jokes, it's actual interactions with kids, and I feel duped. And that brings me to my most recent issue with Shane that happened about a year ago. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this, but he made a video with a friend of mine, or I guess past friend of mine, Eugenia, where he talked about her recovery story. Now, the therapist that he had in the video is somebody that I knew and who advised me on how to get her help, how to get Eugenia help. I followed her advice and was actually, like, me and my friends, honestly, I think we're the only people that actually did something to help her. And it did help her. It did force her on a path that, although she did not want to go on it, she needed to go on it, and she was getting better. Until Shane decided to air all this stuff and make all this stuff public and put her back on YouTube, back in the spotlight where she could body check and go back into all the same bad habits that she used to do before and present it as though she had recovered. And there's no way he didn't know what we did. He had Katie, the therapist, in his video who helped advise me on how to do this. And then he turns around and presents it as bullying, knowing what happened.
Bullying me into like trying to make like decisions for me.
So that's why I made my video as fast as I could, because I was scared that this narrative would persist, that she is fine now, and I very much believe that she is not. And now, seeing where things are, it's pretty clear that I was right. Unfortunately, I think any amount of good that I was able to do has just, it's been undone, and that's pretty evident. So yeah, I have beef with Shane. I feel like he put a friend of mine that I risked a lot for right back in harm's way, and I believe he did so knowingly. I think he knew what he was doing, but didn't care because it's a video that would get views and get people to pat him on the back for helping somebody that I think he most definitely did the opposite for, and it's very personal for me. This is not just a YouTube video. This is not just drama. This was my life. This is something that did a lot of damage, and I still feel pretty messed up from it. But I'm gonna move on from that, and I'm gonna talk about the things that he is currently under fire for. I just thought it was important to note so that you could have an idea of my headspace going into this. And since a lot of people are saying that these things he's being accused of are super old, I do want to say that that was recent. That was a year ago. I think that there are still things going on that are pretty messed up, including his fail of an apology video, which ironically he starts off by saying his previous apologies were bad, but not this one.
Those apologies suck. I don't know who that person is anymore. Every apology video I've ever made has been from fear.
I'm pretty sure that this one is also from fear, since it happened directly after Jenna Marbles made her video and after this Twitter thread calling him out went pretty viral.
It's me sitting at home thinking the whole world hates me and crying and hyperventilating and then just turning on a webcam and just saying I'm sorry and then hoping people know I'm a good person and then it'll go away.
I mean, let me know what y'all think in the comments, but I really do feel like that describes exactly what he's doing right now. He spends so much of his videos saying that I'm not that person, like I don't even know who that person was, as though that can somehow be a moment in time separated from who he is today, and that is kind of a cop-out of an apology. But one of the most disturbing things that I saw in that Twitter thread was a video of him having what he refers to as the birds and the bees talk with his 12-year-old cousin. But I mean, I'm a big advocate of having that conversation with kids because you have to, as a parent or adult figure or, you know, whoever in their life, you have to explain these things. You can't just ignore them. You have to educate about these things so that kids can be careful. But There is a way to do that, and this isn't it. This is not just a, now this is bad. It was a lot more than that. It was pretty disturbing.
Very important question. And you don't need to feel shy about it.
No, you really.
It's natural.
It's natural. Is there anybody around? No.
It's natural for a girl at your age.
Now her face is blurred out in this. There are videos that show her face, but I did not feel comfortable doing that. First thing that I think is pretty noticeable, if you're looking around and seeing if anybody's listening, you know, maybe you shouldn't be having the conversation if you have to be so hush-hush about it with a child.
Yeah. So we want to talk to you. We want to explain what sex is to you. We did get really quiet.
Oh, where's the other peep? We should probably explain.
We'll just use peeps.
Now here's where it gets pretty weird. They use the peep as a way to, like, depict sex. Ugh.
Well, just pretend like that's, you know. I mean, that works.
Lucy, this happens.
See, oh.
Ah!
Now I'm all about sex ed. I do think once you reach a certain age you should learn, but sticking a peep up your skirt, pretending it's a dick, and going, ah, that ain't it, girl.
And then you're so happy when you're an adult. I can't believe I'm endorsing this.
No, it's not funny. It's messed up. Like, as I said before, there is a way to have this conversation in a respectful, appropriate, mature way, and this is just not that at all.
Look what you've turned me into.
So Lucy, does that make sense?
Can you reenact it for us?
But Lucy,
Did you hear what she said? Can you reenact it for us?
Can you reenact it for us?
Yes! 12-year-old, take this peep, put it up your skirt, and go, ah! Because this is just education.
listen, you should be in love and you should preferably be married and hopefully not have any kids.
Okay.
And you should definitely be over the age of like 24, 25.
And he should put a ring on it.
And he should put a
ring on it.
dick ring on it.
Almost good advice. It seemed for a moment there, Shane was being protective and trying to say, you know, stay away from it and wait until you're older and be safe and don't get pregnant, until he gets into the part about a dick ring, which I don't think that 12-year-olds necessarily need to know about that.
No, I'm kidding. No, you don't know what that is. You shouldn't know what that is.
Shouldn't know what that is, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up anyway.
Now, are you on your period right now?
What?
I'm trying to get answers.
See, like, he knows that he shouldn't be doing it, but he's doing it, and then putting it on the internet. There's just no excuse for that.
How old are you? I'm not gonna give you anything. So close.
How old are you?
I'm 12.
She's on her period,
feels very.
right?
You know what?
Are you? No, you're not on your period? You bleed.
If someone in my family filmed me, or someone I knew at 12 years old, asking about periods and sex toys, ooh, I'd be livid.
You bleed.
You bleed, right? 12 years old.
No.
Now listen, you have a boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Now what did I tell you? When he says, can I put it in, you say,
No.
good. High five, girlfriend. Now when he says, what about just in your mouth? You say,
No.
I mean, I get the stay away from boys thing, but there's a way to word it, and this has already gone beyond inappropriate. It's just gross.
Right?
12 years old, everybody. 12 years.
Saying 12 years old just shows that you know it's weird to have this conversation, and I don't understand how any adult would think putting this kind of thing on the internet is okay, or even some of the things that were discussed. It's just so obviously wrong. I don't know why it's taken this long for these things to be an issue for people, honestly. A lot of these things should have been an issue when they happened, and I don't know why it took some drama that he's having with somebody else online for this stuff to surface. Here's another thing that's really disturbing. He has an Omegle chat with his mom where he asks an underage girl to twerk and take it off.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I like her nail polish.
Now show yourself.
No, sweetheart. What's your name?
Okay, so I do want to acknowledge that Shane's humor, especially back then, was for the large part focused on shock value, especially if he was filming with somebody. I think especially since it is his mom, he's trying to make her be like, oh my goodness, Shane, because he thinks that that's entertaining, that's funny, that's whatever it is that he's trying to do. I don't think that he goes on Omegle or other video chats and actually tries to have underage girls twerk and take it off. I don't think that's something that he would do in private for his own pleasure, but the fact that he's doing it even as a joke is not okay, because it's not just a joke anymore. He's actually having an underage girl twerk.
This is making us look really egotistical. It's making me uncomfortable.
That's what's making you uncomfortable, of all things?
Love you too.
Okay. Here, talk to her. Tell her to calm down. Calm down, yeah.
I love you too. Can you twerk for us? Can you twerk for us?
She looks so little. She's so little. If I were her mother and I saw this shit, I'd be so pissed.
I know twerking is insane.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, I love you too. Now shut up and twerk.
Ugh, don't like it. Like I said, I know he's doing it for shock value and to be funny, but this is a real person. She's not in on the joke. It's not like he has an actress playing a young girl. This is a real child who he's actually telling to twerk, and she's looking up to him as a fan, and he's, as an adult man, is like, okay, haha, twerk. It's not funny.
Twerk for us.
Oh,
Here we go. She's moving furniture.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah. Now tell her to show herself.
Stop it, Shaylee.
Tell her to show herself. I mean, like, she's actually dancing for him. Like, he went so far as to type it out that he wanted her to twerk because apparently she couldn't hear him. Like, this is something he really wanted. And yeah, he got the reaction out of his mom that he probably wanted, but this is bad. And this is something that he never addressed in his apology video. This was never mentioned. Neither was this.
Oh, Willow. Oh, I'll whip your hair back and forth. Oh.
Again, I know that he's trying to joke. I know that he's trying to do this for shock value, but you know, that was a very young Willow Smith. This is not just a made-up person. This is a real child, and you are pretending to masturbate on them. And needless to say, her family was pissed. Shane Dawson, I am disgusted by you. You sexualizing an 11-year-old girl who happens to be my sister is the furthest thing from funny and not okay in the slightest bit. To Shane Dawson, I'm done with the excuses. Yeah, if I were her mother or her brother, I would be saying the same thing. But the shock value and the sexualization of kids was nothing new to his channel. He would do this kind of thing all the time, even in like music videos. I know that times were different then, but I don't see how, at any point, putting a dick cookie in a child's mouth in a video would ever be funny. Man, I'm gonna be an overprotective mama one day, I'm telling you what. The one that turned you gay. Hilarious. So this is part of the Twitter thread that went viral, and I will link that below if you're interested in looking through all the things. I could not include all of them in this video, but there was a lot. He claims he has been so regretful for so long about his racist and pedophilic actions, yet only apologizes after the contents of this thread go viral. It's obvious he used Jenna Marbles' apology to frame his own since he saw how well it went down. You won't be forgive, Shane. Yeah, I mean, I think an apology could have happened a long time ago for the stuff that I just played. You know, and then in this thread, this made me really sad. I was 11 and I remember learning how to twerk, so that way when he joined our group chat, he would notice me. When I did, he said something along the lines of, "Yes, shake that sexy little ass." At the time, I was so flattered, but growing up, I think about it and feel so violated and manipulated. Yeah, I mean, that's something, I believe that. Literally, I just played a video of him asking a girl to twerk. So this girl is like 11 years old trying to make sure she can twerk so that if she talks to Shane Dawson, she can do that for him. So now I want to go into the podcast that I was on with him, because at one point in it, he did say that he knew the content he was making clearly was inappropriate because it would get flagged all of the time. And that's why he decided to change the style of his content. Not because he grew up or matured, but because videos just keep getting flagged. So I'm gonna go into the podcast that I was on so that you can hear this and the other conversations that we had.
Another YouTuber called Jacqueline Glenn.
Oh my God, wait, you are?
Yeah.
I like her. She does like the atheist
Yeah,
stuff.
she said, yeah, you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. So he knew who I was and found out that I was there and wanted me to join the podcast.
Yeah, so she's in the other room.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
She's here? Bring her in. Can she come in? Oh my God.
Two
What
for
a
the price of
scoop.
one.
What an exclusive.
So I didn't at all plan to be on this podcast. I was in the other room, like waiting for it to be over. I was on my phone, wasn't even really paying attention, and then someone came in and they're like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, what? And I ran out, but it was something that definitely caught me off guard.
My fave flavor.
Nice to meet you. I wasn't expecting
Come on in, Queen.
She's like, I was not ready for this.
I wasn't.
How you doing?
Good. Hi, how are you?
Oh my
Good.
God.
But yeah, I was starstruck. This is somebody that I looked up to for a long time, and then he wanted me to be on the podcast, and I was unprepared. And, you know, when you're not even expecting something like that, it kind of took me off guard. And I was like, oh God, I wasn't even like dressed the way I wanted to be. It was a lot.
Wait, I have an interesting question. No, I was thinking about this the other day. And I was thinking about you and a couple other YouTubers kind of in your realm.
I guess my realm of commentary videos.
Of like political, like atheist, like not super liberal. I don't really know all these words.
Just commentary channels.
But I feel like 5 years ago it was very much like social justice warrior. You can't say anything. Everybody's very sensitive. All this stuff.
PC, yeah.
Now I feel like it's completely flipped, and you're kind of at one of the fronts of that, right? Because you're very like not politically correct.
I think it's interesting how after all that he's done on the internet, he's calling me basically more controversial than he is. Although, yeah, I do talk about politics and religion and things, which people see as pretty taboo. I do think sexualizing children might be a little bit more extreme on that scale of not politically correct.
You talk
Yeah,
about,
no, I'm not.
and, you know,
Yeah.
and even though I like don't
yeah.
agree with everything, like I'm not atheist, all this stuff, but I still find it very interesting when intelligent people talk about things I don't like fully agree with. Like, but yeah, so
Yeah, I don't think he would fully agree with a lot of things that I say, seeing as like a video he recently posted was talking about a demon he has in his house. We obviously view the world very differently, but imagine me at the time. Like, this was somebody that I really liked. Like I said a million times, I looked up to, I was starstruck, and here he is. Not only did he know who I was, but he liked my videos. He probably doesn't like this one, but
It doesn't matter what I say, but I do like talking about, you know,
Speak your
controversial
truth,
things.
Queen. Speak your truth, and
Yeah.
that's all you can do. And if people want to hate on it, hate on it.
yeah, no, I find it very,
Cash that
very
check.
fascinating.
So here's where it gets interesting, and here's where he says the bit about getting flagged.
No, the YouTube thing is scary because so I like back in the day I did like sketches and stuff, and I was playing characters, and then it was like raunchy, so I started to change my thing because I was getting flagged a lot, whatever.
And whatever. I was getting flagged a lot and whatever, so I decided to change my thing. To me, that's not somebody who is actively trying to grow as a person. It's not somebody who has made a conscious effort to be better. It's just somebody who has made an effort to not get flagged. Regardless of this, like, I really, I feel so torn because I feel like he has hurt me in the past, and these videos I'm seeing of him are so disturbing, but it's still like weird for me to mentally wrap my head around all of it because I want to like him still. Like, I remember how I felt after this podcast, and he was so nice after we had a conversation, and he just felt like such a genuine person, and all of this is overwhelming to me to think about. And even though I'm angry with him, this whole situation makes me very sad, and I still feel, I guess I'm disappointed again.
That I wish I could make go away, that I try to make go away by deleting videos or untagging my Instagram things or literally doing whatever I can to pretend like those things didn't happen.
I do think he's very embarrassed. I think that he is ashamed of the things that he's done, but the way he explained it, it wasn't for the right reasoning. I feel like he needs to, and Shane, if you're watching this, you're probably not, but I think my best advice for you would be make another video. Make another video and actually go through all of the things that people are mad at you for, and don't just focus on the lesser of the offenses to take the eyeballs off of the things that are worse. Do like Jenna did. Show the things. Don't hide from it. And he goes through, and he mentioned several times in his apology video that he is actively and has actively tried to hide from his past because he's ashamed. But shame isn't accountability. Your first apology video, you tried to say you wanted it to be good. It wasn't. I think that you've probably gotten that message loud and clear. I think you need to readdress it and do so in a much, much more genuine way.
Literally doing whatever I can to pretend like those things didn't happen.
I mean, you're still kind of doing that. You're still doing that. Yeah, you're losing subscribers, but look at the views that have disappeared on his channel. this is the result of him deleting or privating lots of videos, lots of stuff that he's trying to hide from. And if you want to do that, that's fine. Like, I know Jenna Marbles talked about how she did that, but you have to address it first. You can't just hide these things and pretend like people are going to forget or like it's going to go away. Because I tell you what, if you put something on the internet, it's going to be there forever.
And that is stupid. That is something that a child does, not something that a 31-year-old man does. That's not good.
That is what you're doing, though. You're still kind of doing that. Seriously, redo your video, do another one, and actually be the man that you're claiming you need to be. Speaking of hiding from things, I've also seen a lot of people thinking that he's deleting their comments. I can't say whether or not that's true. Sometimes, especially on a video getting the volume of attention that his is, YouTube will filter out different comments. So I don't know if those claims against him are true, but because people are feeling that way, he is just getting a barrage of comments that are the same thing, saying depression and anxiety isn't an excuse to sexualize children, Shane. And the reason that he's getting all those comments is because he does something very similar to what Brady did in the video that I made a few videos ago about a predator. Everybody's freaking crazy right now on the internet, but, you know, he tried to say that because of his disturbing past that, you know, he had some mental issues that then led him to make poor decisions in the future, which, you know, although I can see how that could be true, you cannot use that as an excuse to do bad things to other people. It does not justify your actions at all, and people were upset that Shane seemed to be doing that in his video.
And I've talked about this before, but when I say I hate that person, I mean it in the most intense way possible.
And now he goes into why he hated that person, because of stuff that he went through. And this is another reason why people are upset, is because, like I said earlier, he's disassociating himself from who he used to be. That is you, though. You still have to take accountability for those things. You can't say, well, that was another person. No, it was you.
I hate that person so much. That person was filled with sadness, filled with anger about their own issues, in the closet.
So now you understand why people were saying depression and anxiety isn't an excuse to sexualize children, Shane. Yeah, it really isn't.
I saw Jenna Marbles' video, and it really inspired me, and felt like a sign from the universe that I want to do this.
A lot of people were mad at him for saying this. On Twitter, I saw, Shane, I'm inspired by Jenna. Jenna pulls up the clips of each thing she did, thoroughly and sincerely explains how wrong it was and apologizes. Shane, not even once, shows even a picture of what people are calling him out for, holds little accountability. It's true, like I said, you gotta make another video, Shane. You have to make another video and actually go through why people are mad.
So this video is coming from a place of just wanting to own up to my shit. Wanting to own up to everything I've done on the internet that has hurt people.
Again, I don't think it's coming from that place. I really do think it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from, you know, you seeing her make that apology video, and like the tweet I showed before, it's because of the Twitter thread that went viral, and the apology is coming after.
I made the decision to play stereotypes of black people.
This is one of the many examples of him doing blackface, and although this does warrant an apology similar to Jenna's video, even though I don't even think her blackface was intentional, this was him intentionally doing blackface. And I'm glad he apologized for that, but he spent almost the entire video talking about that, when I think the inappropriate actions towards children are why people are really mad, or at least the biggest reason.
I said, oh, this is funny, and I put it on the internet. Now, years later, I look back at that.
As much as I don't condone making jokes like that, it is important to note things were different 10 years ago. They just were. I'm not saying it was okay. I'm not saying it didn't hurt people. So for that, apologies should be made. But I don't think comedians in general should be punished today for shit they said 10 years ago if they have genuinely and sincerely apologized and shown a change over that time. And as long as they've done those things genuinely, I don't think they deserve to be canceled over it, but obviously he is going through being accused of a lot more and a lot more serious stuff than that.
Swear on my life, I am not somebody who would ever talk about a child, like in seriousness. I would never talk about a child in any way that was inappropriate.
But you did, and it wasn't just jokes. I mean, real conversations that you had with kids on video chat. asking them to do inappropriate things, real conversations where you demonstrate inappropriate things to a 12-year-old. Like, this is beyond jokes. And you can't say that you would never do the things that you obviously have done.
That is disgusting. That is gross. It is not something I would ever do. It is something I did for shock value.
You can't say it's not something I would ever do and then follow that immediately by saying it was something that I did.
It is not something I would ever do. It is something I did.
Even if you add for shock value, you can't say, this is something that I would never do, but I did it. You know what I mean? That just doesn't work.
I saw a vlog clip of me and my cousin who was, I don't know, probably 12 or 13 at the time. And we were, I was doing the birds and the bees talk. Dumb, gross shit.
This is the only thing he actually addresses about all of this. And he brushes it off saying, this is the birds and the bees. But as I showed, it was a lot more than that and not mature or appropriate at all.
And I remember a few years ago, I reached out to her mom, my aunt, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I can't believe I did this. Like, this is insane. I can't believe I talked to, my cousin like that. And, she was like, oh my God, we know. It's okay. It was funny. Like, we all thought it was funny.
That's interesting. I guess I believe that maybe they said that, but if they did, then that worries me even further about other people. Like, what is the entire family doing that they think that's funny or okay? My God, if that were my kid, I would flip the fuck out.
Like, that's just how our family is. So I kind of took that as like, okay, well, then I don't need to apologize for it. But I do, because I posted it on the internet for everyone. Not just my family. I posted like a stupid, weird family moment for everyone.
I don't think that even just for your family, it's okay to talk to a 12-year-old about a dick ring. Or ask her repeatedly if she's bleeding when she's clearly uncomfortable talking about her period with an adult man.
Now, even though my apologies in the past for all of these things have not been good enough, they've not been thought out, they've been very fear-based, they've been not good at all.
That's exactly what this is.
I have made a lot of changes in my life.
But you never addressed it. You never apologized for it, and even in this video, you haven't covered everything, not even close. You definitely didn't show what it is that you are apologizing for. And I'm gonna get into this, but the stuff that I went through a year ago involving him, I do think is a testament to his character that he still does and says things for shock value. I don't know that, and I hate to say this because like I said, he's somebody that I always liked, but I don't know that the videos that he's making now are coming from a genuine place. I think he sees something that he knows is gonna get views, that he can sensationalize, and he goes for it. Whether it's Jake Paul and talking about sociopaths in a way that is inappropriate, or making a video about Eugenia that wildly misrepresents the situation for what it is and puts her in a dangerous place right back in the spotlight. You can't say that you've completely changed when you're still doing that.
I'm not just saying, oh, I'm gonna stop doing that, guys. I did stop doing that. I stopped doing that stuff years ago.
Maybe you've moved past racist jokes or sexualizing children, but you still are taking topics that are serious and sensationalizing them for views. And then he talks about drama with James Charles that I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about, so I'm gonna move past the beauty community drama, but I do think this clip was interesting.
I'm sorry, James. I'm really sorry. First of all, nobody deserves what happened. Nobody. The whole internet ganging up on someone. Nobody deserved that.
I maybe feel like you have other motivations by saying that. Are you only apologizing for the entire internet ganging up on him because you don't want the entire internet to gang up on you? I think you need to readdress all of these things that you're being accused of, and even though it's not something that people are talking about right now, personally, I would love for you to address the Eugenia Cooney situation. Like, to talk about what we did as bullying in your video like you did, working with Katie Morton as the therapist who, like I said, gave me the instructions on how to go about helping her. Katie Morton goes on to make a video with Eugenia about a 5150, which is a psychiatric hold that I placed her on from the advice Katie gave me, and she sits there with Eugenia in this video talking about how horrible it must have been. Girl, you're the one who told me to do that and instructed me on how to do that, and you sit there with her like it's such a horrible thing, you can't believe people did that? Really? It's very hard for me to believe that Shane did this video with her and never knew what really happened, never talked to Eugenia about what really happened, never thought that it was interesting that her mother never showed her face once during his video, never thought it was weird that the lawyer had to be present during the video to make sure nothing wrong was said. Come on, I don't believe you. And you not once raised any question about her safety, not once. After the video that Katie made with Eugenia, I tweeted this because I was so pissed, and I included screenshots of the several email conversations that I had with Katie before doing the 5150. I had phone calls with her that obviously didn't record, but here are screenshots of the emails to prove that she knew exactly what we were doing and helped advise me. And I had Katie Morton. She wasn't there for the intervention, but I was at such a loss as for what to do. I had conversations on the phone with Katie, I had emails back and forth with her. So to be honest, her involvement with Shane's video is a little confusing to me because she knows the darkest details. She knew. How did he not know? How did they never have that conversation? I don't believe that they didn't. And then he puts out the narrative that everything is okay when it wasn't. I didn't feel comfortable with the narrative going out the way it was, and I do believe that this collaboration with Shane Dawson was something that was intentionally done.
Bullying me into like trying to make like decisions for me.
If we're gonna talk about bullying, if we're gonna really talk about people who bullied her, why don't we talk about what Shane said?
Hey, someone commented in quotations on a picture. Take the fucking picture, Becky, I can't breathe.
Well, you don't know struggle till you're taking a picture standing next to Eugenia fucking Cooney, bitch.
I don't know what that is or who that is.
That's my goal for like 2017, just skin and bones. If you want to do a YouTuber costume, this is you. Right.
Why? I don't get it. Because they're white.
Shane. And then has the audacity to stand next to her and talk about people bullying her, referencing me, after he has said the things that he said. How can he make this video without addressing that he has said those things? How? Realize that it's not always an easy, cheerful, happy recovery story. Sometimes you have to risk your friendship to save someone. It's not easy. It's very difficult, and telling people that it is might make them lose hope whenever they realize that going through this process is difficult. I went through hell to get this girl help. She's somebody that I loved, I deeply cared about, and I lost her. I lost her in my life as a friend. And now Shane makes a video undoing that, essentially, putting her back in the spotlight, putting her back in danger. How would you feel? How would you feel if you were me? That's public now. Shane made a video for millions to see. The problem is that it's untrue in a way that keeps her in a very dark place. So that's why I made my video as fast as I could, because I was scared that this narrative would persist, that she is fine now, and I very much believe that she is not. I think everyone can see. You can go see for yourself whether or not those words ring true today. He's still standing by it. I mean, one of his most recent tweets is sharing a picture of her and saying how beautiful she is. Let's just ignore that a major problem is going on. If you really care, why don't you follow up with her and make sure she's actually doing better? And that's why I think it's important that we don't brush everything under the rug and assume she's better because she smiled on the internet and said she's better. You put her back in the spotlight, you made people stop worrying about her because you said everything was okay. That turned all of her comments at the time to just applauding her and encouraging her to keep doing what she's doing, body checking and all of these negative things, and now look where she is. You enabled that. Where's your video helping her now? I certainly can't do anything, but maybe you could. If you really care, I would hope that you did. Don't just make your video and get your views and get the pats on the back and then let shit go to hell and do nothing. And I said this before, this is not just internet drama, this is real life. This is somebody that I care about, I still love, and it breaks my heart to see things going the way I was fearful that they would go, and he sits there and just retweets her saying how beautiful she is. Thank you. Thanks, Shane. Thank you for the help. It's shitty. The things that he's done are shitty. His apology was shitty. I hope he addresses it. I hope he redoes it. I hope he actually takes accountability for real this time for what he's done. And maybe if he so chooses, address the person that you're currently facilitating being in harm's way. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of YouTube. I'm so sick of the environment and the toxicity. Everyone, you have no idea the kind of shit that goes on. It's so toxic. Some of the biggest people out there that you support are doing some really dark, messed up shit. No one says anything and we just stand them. Do I think it's possible that Shane could recover from all of this? I don't know, maybe. Maybe if he does a genuine apology. I do think it's important to address the difference between what he has done and people like Brady, for example, that I made a few videos ago about how he actually engaged in sexual contact with minors. You know, it's not like Shane has done that. He's made a lot of inappropriate jokes and he has hurt people in the process. So when people ask me if it's something that he can recover from, maybe. I don't know. I'm not the judge of that. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that he can recover? Do you think that he can't? In my experience, the internet tends to forget and move on, especially if they like somebody, and he is definitely somebody that is well loved, maybe not at the moment, but probably could be again in the near future. I don't know. I'm not psychic, even though he believes in psychics. I'm not one of them. I'm gonna end this rant. This video is already really long. I just wanted to give my thoughts on all of the things that are going on because this is huge right now. And I had some things I wanted to get off my chest as well that I think add to the character of him as a person, and I hope that he does something about it. I hope that he can actually help in situations where he has the power to help. And I hope he grows, and I hope things get better. And I'm just so disgusted. I'm so disgusted and overwhelmed with the internet. It's depressing. It really is. So I'm gonna go take a walk with my dog and try to get some fresh air and calm down, because this week has been such a nasty week on YouTube, and a person can only take so much without feeling that they're gonna lose their goddamn mind. Thanks for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it. Really looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. You know, thanks to those of you who have subscribed to my channel, who are supporting me. I could not do this without you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hopefully it's a bit more cheerful than this one. All right, see you then. Bye.